Good afternoon. The Reginald Martin Award for Excellence in Criticism is named for a man who held 5 degrees, including a PhD in English, and was an author of 9 books. Also, Dr. Reginald Martin published hundreds of articles, poems, and short stories and lectured all over the world, discussing topics as wide-ranging as African American literature, the economics of publishing, various aspects of American popular culture, and the correlation between prison recidivism and illiteracy. Along with that, his books, Ishmael Reed and the New Black Aesthetic Critics, Southern Secrets, Dysfunction Junction, Everybody Knows What Time It Is, and his seminal essay, Current Thought in African American Literary Criticism, all combine to create a new standard for exploring how literary theory and creative writing must exist in a complementary relationship so that the art is reflective of the socio-political reality and sensibilities of the people, while the theory serves to illuminate the best practices of artistic production to ensure that the work functions to heal, educate, and inspire the people to reach their full potential. Additionally, by the age of 35, he was the youngest person to become a full professor at the University of Memphis. Through his creative, theoretical, and academic work, Dr. Reginald Martin inspired a generation of young artists and theorists to learn the canon of literary history and then master their unique abilities to reshape and refashion the art of their time to meet the needs of their culture. It is in this tradition that no one is more deserving of this inaugural award than Dr. Jerry W. Ward. He was born in Washington, D.C. in 1943, and his family moved to Mississippi when he was 6. He attended Tougaloo College and received a Bachelor of Science degree in 1964. Like the aforementioned Dr. Martin, Dr. Ward began his career as a creative writer and theorist, crafting poems and essays that provide both an aesthetic and sociological understanding of the brilliance, beauty, and power of African people. His first national publications were in the 1972 summer issue of Black Creation, the 1973 issue of Hoodoo, and the 1983 issue of Black Collegian. The publications in Hoodoo and Black Collegian led towards long-lasting friendships with the late poet and editor Amos Zubotin and with poet, fiction writer, playwright, editor, and activist Columbia Salam. Together with playwright, editor, and activist Tom Dent, these writers helped to shape the core of the post-Richard Wright and Margaret Walker Alexander generations of Afro-Southern literature. By the early 70s, Dr. Ward became associated with Black Art South, an outgrowth of the Free Southern Theater in New Orleans, which was founded in 1964 to nurture and celebrate Black theater and to use theater as a tool for social and political reform and activism. As such, Dr. Ward regularly published work in his journal, Combo. In 1973, Ward became involved with the work of the Southern Black Cultural Alliance, a community theater coalition, and hosted several of the group's annual meetings at Tougaloo College. After earning his PhD in English in 1978 at the University of Virginia, Dr. Ward served as the SPCA Executive Committee from 1978 to 1983. He was also an early member of the Mississippi Cultural Arts Coalition, founded in 1982 by poet and activist Barbara Nail Watkins, which published the newsletter Monitor. The MCAC was directly responsible for developing the Fair Street Festival in the historic Jackson, Mississippi district, which became the biggest festival to feature Black art in the history of Mississippi. Dr. Ward also worked with noted jazz bassist John Reese's Black Arts Music Society, which played a major role in the creation of the Jackson Black Music Awards. In 1982, Dr. Ward became a founding member of the Jackson Writers Workshop, which published the chapbook Mississippi Earthworks, while they supported Black theater at Jackson State University and Tougaloo College. The Jackson Writers Workshop was also responsible for the careers of a new generation of artists, including poet David Bryan Williams, poet and playwright Charlie Braxton, who is also one of the most noted hip-hop scholars on the planet, and Grammy Award-winning jazz artist Cassandra Wilson. The 90s proved to be a watershed decade for Dr. Ward, as he edited some of the most celebrated and respected anthologies of their time. In 1990, he published Redefining American Literary History, which cemented Ward's reputation as a first-rate literary critic, archivist, and educator. In 1992, he published Black Southern Voices, which works to widen the notions of Black Southern writing, Filled with the traditional names of the canon, the collection works to add further evidence of the merits of Black Southern writers. However, by including writers such as Angela Davis, the collection also forces readers to re-examine what is considered to be Black Southern writing. In 1993, Dr. Ward wrote the introduction to Richard Wright's Black Boy, and in 1997, he released the seminal Trouble the Water, 250 Years of African-American Poetry, which continues to be lauded as an essential text in the study of African-American literature. Furthermore, he served as a program officer at the National Endowment for the Humanities and co-founded the Richard Wright Circle and the Richard Wright Newsletter with Margaret Walker Alexander, Samuel Allen, Ralph Ellison, Michael Faber, Dr. Mary Emma Graham, and Julia Wright. Yet, in August 2006, Dr. Ward completed what many consider his magnum opus, the Katrina Papers. Building on the tradition and structure of Jean Thomas Cain, the Katrina Papers is an amalgamation of poetry, narrative, and critical essay woven by the jazz sensibilities of what it means to be a Black person, constantly taking the pieces and fragments of an arrested or interrupted life and creating beauty that testifies to the spirit of human survival. Excerpts of the Katrina Papers have appeared in African American Review, Drum Voices Review, Chicken Bones, a journal, and Ishmael Reed's journal, Come. For more than 55 years, Dr. Jerry Ward Jr. has been the epitome of Black brilliance, especially in showing that the purpose of the scholar is to lead, guide, assist, and protect those who have been less fortunate than oneself, while creating work that reveals to readers a horizon of greatness that they are able to achieve. Moreover, as a distinguished professor of Tougaloo College, Dillard University, and Central China Normal University in Wuhan, Dr. Ward, like Doc Martin, has produced a new generation of teachers, creative writers, and theorists whose work continues to shape and reshape the fabric of African American literature. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the first winner of the Reginald Martin Award for Excellence in Criticism, Dr. Jerry Ward Jr.